Greetings, ladies and gents, and welcome to this latest edition of Read TFOS, where I take old stories I've narrated and update them to modern audio standards. This particular story is called The Price of a Mile, written by Warrior 4356. As a species advances further from their primitive planet-bound roots, attitudes towards warfare will in general shift towards being more focused on warships and less on static defenses, as the collective population forgets the entrenched warfare of old. When the Herathi cruiser arrived in the Sol system and issued their demands for surrender, the natives had little issue receiving it. But even if they could have communicated back, what exactly were they to say against an empire that claimed to span exactly 874 stars? To the Herathi, the terms were reasonable, as was the measured ultimatum. The exact terms of the proclamation does not really matter for the purposes of the study in pre-FTL psychology, but can be surmised as be assimilated or be destroyed. The natives of Sol did not have access to FTL technology, with only chemical-based spaceflight. Still, rather than spend their year preparing for the cultural upheaval their surrender would bring upon them, they instead decided to teach the Herathi the meaning of an axiom that the Empire had long forgotten while being fresh in the natives' collective memory. Uncountable orbital fortifications were built. Bases stretching from Sol 1 to the outer planetoids were set in orbit, along with larger asteroids towed into position to give the natives ground to build on. Perhaps the most extravagant use of resources was the munitions. With the height of their weapons technology being fusion-tipped missiles, they decided to break the standard convention of mobile ships with many launches in favor of a different tactic. They pre-fired millions of fusion-tipped missiles, filling countless orbits of their star with angry little satellites, each nothing more than solar panels, communications, and as many missiles as they could support. Eventually, the year had passed, and the Herathi returned with little more than a single ship, bringing a low-level head of state to accept the natives' surrender. Instead of a grand welcome and celebration they expected, they were given a different sort of grand welcome, as they were once more reminded of the axiom they had long forgotten. The point defense systems of the Herathi were some of the best in the galaxy, but eventually they could not cope with the load. Beyond that were near impenetrable energy shields, but even those began to protest as they were pushed to their limits. When the hull itself starts to warm, as the armor cracked, they learned the lesson long forgotten moments from oblivion. The price of a mile. End of story. I'd quickly like to thank the T5 peeps: Cold War Boomerwaffen, Severin Cerberus, Bushmaster 177, Henry the Red, Caspar Arnholtz, Cold War Boomerwaffen, Elijah Silvercross, Dragzoon WRE, and Severin Cerberus. Thank you very much.